Hello, Kingdom Warriors. Welcome back to Growth Lab, where we are growing our mind and muscles and we are growing in life. Okay, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, you already know what's up. Okay, all right, so today I kind of wanted to talk about nursing again. And if you're interested in nursing school, or if you're interested in the nursing profession career, if you're interested in just listening, then this is for you, because I just want to talk about my preceptorship, because I got past the 4 weeks of education and classroom stuff. So this last week was the start of my preceptorship, and it was three shifts of being on the unit with the preceptor, okay? And it was kind of nerve-wracking. Like, it was kind of scary because I thought it was gonna be similar to clinicals, So I wasn't really anxious, because I'm like, I don't really know what to expect. Like, I know how clinicals were, but in clinicals for me it was kind of more like I was focused on the skills aspect, not too much on the charting. Like, I did pay attention to the charting whenever like the nurse would do it and stuff, but it is very different when you're starting to do it on your own. Okay, so yeah, so that was a really it was an eye-opener during those 3 shifts. But I have a really, really cool preceptor. She helped me out a lot. She has been helping me out a lot, and very encouraging as well. She's good. She's like very on it and detail oriented. And yeah, it's just these 3 shifts so far have been showing me like I need to manage my time better while I am working. Like, because there is so much like you have to do within the shift. Like, just seeing my nurse, my preceptor, like how she communicates with all the different like doctors and team members, like just interdisciplinary members. Yeah, she's like running around, and then she's like over here like charting a bunch of different stuff, making sure the patient has consent for their surgery, and all these different things on top of giving meds, checking their labs. It's just like, it's a lot. So I was like, oh my gosh. Whew. Like, by the end of this 3rd shift, I'm like, well, okay, that's going to be me pretty soon. And whew, I need to really make use of my time during this preceptorship. And that's one thing I recommend too, is don't waste your time during this preceptorship. Get hands-on and get in there as much as you can. Like, do not observe, like just dive in there. Whatever your nurse, like let your nurse know too, like, or your preceptor know, like, hey, like I'll do this for you, okay? Because I want to learn too, and I want to help you out as well. And they'll be like, okay. Like, some nurses will be like, okay. Some nurses will be like, I'll just do it, it's fine. But that's how we're gonna learn. That's how we're gonna learn to ultimately do it on our own when we're gonna be on our own, But yeah, time management is a big one. And also report, baby. If you're not good at report, you know what? Me either, okay? And it's because there's so much like stuff, and then like the notes change kind of throughout sometimes they'll like change plans, like the doctor will change plans or whatever. So like the plan changes and you're like, well, what was the plan? But then you're like, well, I was trying to focus on passing these meds on the correct time, so I didn't even look at the notes, So that was me. Like, I was like, ooh, like, hi. And I'm all like looking at my preceptor and all, because I'm like, where did she find the time to like read that whole like H&P note and everything? Like, I'm still trying to pass this last med, like what the heck? But she kept reminding me too, like, it's with time. Like, with time you'll get familiar with all that. You'll get better at rapport, you'll get better at charting and all that stuff. So yeah, these 3 preceptor shifts were they were tough, but tough in as like, it was just a lot of tasks that you have to do within the shift. And on top of, like trying to make the patient feel like a human being and not just like, all right, like we're going to complete all these tasks. Hello, Miss Susie. Goodbye, Miss Susie. Like, I got to go to another room. Like kind of like you have to kind of like be like, oh, like make conversation with them. But then also like don't get behind on your other patients and the tasks that you have to complete throughout the shift. So it was just the main lesson from these 3 shifts was time management. Work on time management. Work on delegating tasks if you can delegate tasks too. That's something I struggle with as well, because it's just like the task seems like, I could just do it. Like, I'm here, like I could just do it, but it does cut you some time, and if you're cool with like, or if you're just like kind to your staff members, you can just ask them like, hey, please, can you help me out? Can you take this from the patient's room or whatever, to cut some time. But time management, delegation, and also paying attention on charting too. And I'm kind of slow at charting, but I think it's because like I'm really trying to pay attention. Like I don't want to put the wrong thing, like overthink. But then my preceptor was like, don't overthink. Like don't overthink. Be confident. I'm like, you know what, sis? You're right. You are right. Okay. So then I put it down. But yeah, I think those are the main 3 things, at least for like the first couple preceptor shifts to really focus on, is the time management throughout your time during preceptorship, and try to delegate, and the get charting down, and try to have a set time of when you're gonna chart everybody's assessment and stuff, and care plans and education and stuff like that. But also too, I want to highlight is the medication. Really pay attention to the medication, because the doctors can make mistakes on the medications. They can make mistakes on like the route of the medication and how it's going to be delivered to the patient, instead of NG tube, the route, instead of the route being NG tube, the doctor could put an oral medication, but then you like catch it, and then you have to like message them and be like, hi doctor, this is the patient has an NG tube and the medication is PO. Is this what you want, or can we have this order changed or whatever? Because you can't administer that medication if it's like the patient has an NG tube. It'll just be an error, like a med error, and you don't want that. And so pay attention to stuff like that, because you can easily get lost in like the other tasks that you have to do, or like the speed at which your like nurse or preceptor is going at, that you're kind of like, you get overwhelmed. But slow down when it comes to that, and even double check, like, you can trust like whoever it is that's doing the med, you can trust them, but like I would also look over it yourself, because like you're also that double check, and you want to make sure that you're also looking over the dosage of the medications that the patient is getting. Understand why the patient is getting that medication, and making sure that the route is the proper route, because you don't want to hurt a patient. And then that falls back on you, because you were not doing your triple checks, so pay attention to that. All right. So time management, delegation, charting, and paying attention to medication. That's key, because you don't want to be on the news in a couple of shifts, so if you got anything out of this video, I hope it's those 4 key things: that time management, delegating, charting, and medications are really key